Now let's go into Candace's response.
Me, because we were like brother and sister, always supporting each other publicly. And then I showed you guys a few episodes ago that we found out as I was going to speak in Dallas at their YWLS convention that Ben had sent an intern who was going to ask me a question while I was on stage, but we sort of rumbled this plan and I called Ben out on stage. Ben did not like that I called him out on stage. So he began working behind the scenes to have Jewish donors start threatening Charlie to make sure that I wasn't invited to speak at year end because I was an anti-Semite. This is what Charlie told me. And instead, he wanted to be invited. He was going to purchase a friendship, right?
Yeah, he donated $1 million after Charlie was shot at Turning Point USA. Make no mistake about it. Ben and Charlie weren't friends like that. He just did it out of, self-interest to take over what TPUSA has. There's a void.
So he comes at Turning Point USA, and this is what was divulged to me from Andrew Colvett at the time, willing to spend an offensive amount of money to be a part of AmFest. Like I said, that was told to me by Andrew Colvett directly because he wanted to say, look, like, obviously, we are totally, Charlie's 100% on your side. This is like an offensive ad spend. I was like, take it, take his money. I could care less, obviously. And I knew that he was working with Barry Weiss to call and put an article out saying that the donors, the people on the board of TPUSA want Candace gone, all of this petty behind the scenes behavior because I called him on the stage. Okay. So quite literally, this is the definition of buying friends and influence and fame. Now, in case you're listening and thinking, is Ben Shapiro actually capable of that level of pettiness?
I am listening and I'm questioning. Let's go. Let's go, Candace. Come on, get him.
I'm going to tell you a story about Thomas Sowell. Yes, Dr. Thomas Sowell of Stanford. In 2023, shortly after October 7th, Ben was sort of having another one of his open nervous breakdowns and his audience just went kaput. People just stopped watching his podcast because he was screaming at Americans that we needed to prioritize Israel. And people just didn't feel that way. Okay, it's not our country. I'm sorry that happened to you, but why do Americans need to be screamed at about what's happening in the Middle East? Throughout this time, Brian Mast was wearing an IDF uniform in Congress.
It's Africa. Not Middle East. I said it, man. I said it. What are they going to say? What are they going to do, man? What are they going to do? It's Africa, man. I said it. Actually, it's not Africa. It's Alkebulan. Alkebulan. It is Alkebulan, not Africa, okay? The Garden of Eden. Do you know, okay? Do you know it has nothing to do with this, okay? It's just because I was talking about this and then blah, 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 blah. Do you know that the name Africa is actually the name of a white man? White man? But in Africa, the actual name is the Garden of Eden. Africa, the real name of that place is the Garden of Eden. Did you know that? Debunked. You did not know that, did you? You're welcome. It is not Africa. It's the Garden of Eden. Also, Al-Qiblan. If it ain't so, that ain't so, man. Let's continue. Come on, Candace, go. Get him.
Congress, and he basically said that there's
that dude's a huge cuck for Israel.
No such thing as an innocent Palestinian life. And when I saw this, as shared by Yashar Ali on X, I responded and I said,
wait a minute, who said that? Who said that? Let's get him, Candace. Come on, get him.
That genocidal language, no matter who shares it, is always wrong. Genocide is always wrong is what I tweeted. And this caused an emotional breakdown amongst people who support Israel. I didn't think that was a controversial statement. I thought that was...
Yeah, but when they run it, it is controversial, unfortunately.
Sort of what we all believed in. Genocide is always wrong. Anyways, for Ben, he then had some private event, probably at another Jewish donor's house, and somebody caught him standing on a table insulting me over my genocide is always wrong tweet. Take a listen to what Ben had to say.
And then the question is about Candace Owens. I think her behavior during this administration.
Bro, he's obsessed with her. Like, what is happening to this guy? Bro, it's like two little girls fighting or something, bro. When you got something like this with a lady, bro, you let it go. You don't yap all the time, bro. Wow, I'm shocked.
I think she's been absolutely disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication.
But I like that suit. I like that suit though. I like the thing. I like that outfit. Whatever. Let me take a picture of that. I'm gonna get that tomorrow. I'm gonna just order that. Okay, I'll do it later.
Everybody can see the moves that she's making, the things that she's saying, and I'm disreputable.
Disreputable, disgraceful. She works at my company. You can imagine that the internet went crazy because they wanted me to respond.
And I remember that she came on our show right after that, chat. And if you guys remember, our show was the last show, and then that was the breaking point. They didn't like that we hit the Mo hit a cash register sound effect. And that's what pissed Ben Shapiro off and led to the firing. That was actually the main thing. TMZ report on this.
To him, I
Crazy shit, dude. Here, actually, I'll show you guys.
can't believe this. They work together, they're colleagues. Somehow this gets leaked. And I want to mention, because it's very relevant, that was on the morning of November 14th. I was 6 days away from giving birth. I was very heavily pregnant. Anyways, I wake up to this, and shockingly, nobody from the Daily Wire steps in to manage the situation. And as you can imagine, virtually every journalist, every person with a media platform was contacting me to comment, to respond to me being insulted by some.
Here it is, my friends. You guys remember this legendary moment?
5 years ago, the U.S. brought together Israel, Morocco,
Bro,
the United Arab
what the
Emirates,
fuck?
and Bahrain.
Yeah, what is that?
Anyway, of course, TMZ wouldn't run ads like this. It's run by Jews. I mean, what the fuck? God damn. Damn, nigga. Shit is fucking trash.
Bro, watch your mouth, bro. Watch your mouth. No N words, bro. No N words, please. I'm Jewish. No N words.
Speaking of Daily Wire, how's it over there? I know obviously there's a little bit of rift between you and Ben. What's going on there? This was back in March of 2024. So this is a few months after he said that about her in November. Let the people know.
I mean, what I said on Tucker following that is the truth. Like, the thing that I regretted about that situation is that people then assume that there was like all of this tension and horrible things that were happening at the Daily Wire. And like me and, Ben lives in Florida. He lives down here. The rest of us live in Nashville on a day-to-day basis. I don't see Ben. There's no like toxicity in the office or anything like that. People are emotional. He is very passionate about Israel. He's married to an Israeli. I mean, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. And then Mo hit that sound effect, and that pissed them off, apparently. The hosts were talking to Candace about the rift with Ben, and every time Ben or his wife, who was Israeli, was mentioned, the show dropped the cha-ching sound effect, an obvious nod to anti-Semitic trope about Jews and money. Apparently, this was the straw that broke the camel's back, chat.
Hey, honestly, from everything I've seen so far, I think Ben, if you watch this clip of me talking about you, you're a bit emotional, bro. Come on, you gotta let your feelings aside. Can you imagine if Ben and Candace were still together? You know how beneficial this would be for Ben? I mean, a lot of people hate Ben now just because he doing all these things against Candace. Unnecessary, bro. Unnecessary.
This nigga Mo, bro, hitting those sound effects led to this, okay? So we're partly responsible for Candace destroying these niggas, man.
No end words, bro.
You can thank Fresh and Fit niggas. We kept Kamala out the White House, and we were the beginning of the end for Ben Shapiro. There's proof.
Wow, bro. Is this guy's videos always like this? So aggressive. Bro. I'm from the trenches, bro. I feel attacked over here, bro.
From TMZ, motherfuckers. Okay? You're welcome, sirs. You're welcome. Yeah, buddy. You're welcome, guys. This was the beginning of the end for this nigga, bro. We started it,
bro.
and you guys got the receipts.
Bro, enough. I'm not used to so many N words in a day. I mean, in less than 5 minutes, I got bombarded with at least 30 N words. And then the F words, bro, why so many? Why?
I'm about to give birth. I'm being insulted.
And then Candace went on a generational run and lapped these niggas.
They're not getting anything from
my
the Daily Wire. So I am obviously frustrated. You should also tell you, I had no PR at this time. My PR was the internal PR at the Daily Wire. And it was very clear that their focus was on protecting Ben, even though he was the one who insulted me publicly, because I said that genocide is always wrong. That is the genesis of that statement. That's all I said. Obviously, I wanted to respond angrily to the press. I wanted to hit back at Ben. And I guess you could sort of say my perspective was an eye for an eye. But my husband, who's a better person than me, instructed me that morning to instead take a deep breath, relax, okay?
Clap for the husband. That's the man. That's the man. Ben should behave like Candace's husband. Yes. Calm down, bro. Calm down. Take it down a notch, boy. You get what I'm saying?
Don't think about what you're feeling in the moment. Think about how you're going to feel in the future.
Oh, that's good.
The Bible. So,
Let's play that again for somebody to kind of get this, okay? Pay attention.
you're you're not getting anything from the Daily Wire. So I am obviously frustrated. Should also tell you, I had no PR at this time. My PR was the internal PR at the Daily Wire. And it was very clear that their focus was on protecting Ben, even though he was the one who insulted me publicly, because I said that genocide is always wrong. That is the genesis of that statement. That's all I said. Obviously, I wanted to respond angrily to the press. I wanted to hit back at Ben. And I guess you could sort of say my perspective was an eye for an eye. But my husband, who's a better person than me, instructed me that morning to instead take a deep breath, relax, okay? Don't think about what you're feeling in the moment. Think about how you're going to feel in the future. And he instructed me to instead read the Bible, the Sermon on the Mount. I read through it, and he reminds me that everybody who wants to comment, they don't care about me either, right? They're selling headlines. They want the clicks. They want the drama. And I'm going to feed into that for what reason? For what reason, actually, am I going to give a comment and say something about Ben Shapiro? Blessed are the peacemakers, right? Don't buy into this click culture. And so I tweeted that. Actually, my husband was right. I called for peace. I tweeted, blessed are the peacemakers. And I made the mistake, I guess it was a mistake, that after I tweeted, blessed are the peacemakers, and I'm thinking that I'm going to be commended when I get back to work. Like, wow, you really took the high road. I ended this biblical passage with Christ is king. Christ is the king. He's the only thing that matters. Obviously, Christ is king. Now, it was just Tucker Carlson's luck that I had been slated to come on his news show the very next day. He had booked me 6 weeks earlier. I got approval from Daily Wire. He booked me for November 15th. So suddenly Ben gets on this table. He insults me. It's trending all over Twitter. And Tucker Carlson is going to be the first person to capture my reaction to it. And when it came time, I kept up with the peacemaker. I made the decision to just take the high road. I said, I don't want that to negatively impact how people perceive the Daily Wire. There are great people there. I mean, I wouldn't be proud on that, but I'm not taking...
And it's all self-inflicted, by the way. Then the Brett Cooper situation, bro, they just fumbled.
The bait here. I didn't say anything snipey back at Ben because I didn't want to feed the mob. That was my honest perspective. My husband was just right. And also, we're talking about a work colleague, right? Somehow, me taking the high road made him angrier. So here's what he did. Elsewhere in my interview with Tucker, he asks me who I look up to, who I like. And I told Tucker the truth that it was my dream to meet Thomas Sowell. That when I first got into politics, I read a ton of
Thomas Sowell is a real nigga, bro.
Sowell books. And I had tried many times to meet him. And obviously he's aging, but I really looked up to Dr. Thomas Sowell. And here's that clip with me and Tucker.
How do you listen to when you're trying to figure out, some of the stuff comes at you so fast and you're talking almost every day. Right?
Thomas Sowell is like the fucking, that nigga is the bane to the FBAs. He debunks so many of these white supremacy, systemic racism myths.
Writing almost every day.
Niggas hate that guy, bro.
Who do you read or listen to try to make sense or bounce ideas off of?
I have been obsessed with Thomas Sowell, and everybody knows that. I am pretty much a Thomas Sowell groupie. Everything he writes, I read. And it is because he was a part of my awakening story into politics and made me focus on the economics, which is to say, block out the noise and pay attention to the economics, go backwards in history to understand where we are. When has this worked? Oh, it's never worked. They're just telling you that it's going to work into the future. And there's no evidence to support that. So Ben saw that. He decided, Thomas Sowell, hey, that's your dream. You love Thomas Sowell. He thought that was an opportunity to get even with me for taking the high road after he insulted me on stage because he's deeply jealous of Tucker Carlson for reasons that I cannot quite understand. Ben had his team reach out and schedule an interview with Thomas Sowell, which they paid for an offensive amount of money, I presume, to effectively purchase a black man who has no idea what's going on. He's very old, in his 90s, to hurt my feelings. Okay. Interview with Tucker is on the 15th. I think it premieres on the 16th. And Ben gets Thomas Sowell, who he doesn't care about. I'm working at the Daily Wire at this moment, and I'm about to give birth in 3 days. But this was supposed to be like an FU Candace for taking the high road and saying that genocide is always wrong. That is what I mean when I say he is an incredibly petty man. Okay. Now,
I can see that it's not no, like just his actions already in public. I can. What do you guys think about this, man? I'm not gonna keep watching. Too many N words, too many F words, too many. I can't. I'm too old for this. What do you guys think about this, man? Comment. Shout out to Candace, man. Shout out to this guy, the N words guy. Shout out to him too. I forgot his name. Something. What is his name? I forgot his name, man. But yeah, I'm out, man. Again, shout out to anybody. If somebody is looking for problems with you, just put peace ahead, man. You're gonna be peaceful in the future. Think of the future. Do not think of the present. Think of the future. Always think of the future. Again, if it's too much, get the Torah, read. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching. This was MMR Studios. Truth over entertainment. You can comment below. You cannot comment. You can subscribe. Do not subscribe. You cannot like, dislike. I don't care, man. I don't care about nothing. You know why? Because I was born in the gutter. From the trenches. Let's get it.
I'm praying to the sky and I got no fear. That's right, bro, I got no fear. Every day in my head, every day in my ears. Yeah, every day in my ears. The one drop me down and yeah, that's clear. Yeah, everything is not clear. This the end, then everything's clear. That's right, the end is near.